Hey everyone, this is Player 1.
And this is Player 2.
And we're coming to you with our pickups. A little late, but for July, right?
Yeah, it's for July.
But we'll make up for it with a massive pickup. We have a ton of cool stuff, ton of games that we've picked up, so that's kind of cool.
And amiibos.
Oh yeah, and your amiibo collection. I still can't fathom how you don't open them. It will drive me crazy not to open them.
Well, in my current situation, I can't have them all out, so I'd rather have them in the box for now. And once I rearrange my game room and my collection, then I'll probably open them. For the meantime, I have them closed.
So what do you got here?
Besides, if you guys are a collector, you guys know the value in keeping stuff in the box.
Seals for sure.
For sure. Not just for selling later on, I mean just for collecting. Anyway, I have here some amiibos that I've gotten through the month of July. I got the Advent Children Cloud, which is the Player 2 for Smash Brothers. I did see the first one, the Player 1 version.
That's cool, man.
It does look really nice. I mean, I like this one. I have seen the old traditional Cloud of Final Fantasy VII, which they call the Player 1 version. And that one, to me, looks alright, but not as good as the Player 2 version, which is
always more badass.
Well, it's the more modern look. I did get Corrin,
No, that's the first player, right?
Yes, the first player. The second player, I'm still waiting for that one. It's coming sometime in August.
Was it delayed or something?
For some reason, it was delayed. I got it through Amazon, so Amazon says that it's coming in August.
Oh, okay.
But I still have it, thankfully. And I got the Bayonetta. I believe this one is the Player 1 version. And I did get the Player 2, so I got both of them.
Where is that one? Did you bring it?
No, I didn't bring it, unfortunately, so we're going to have to do it for the next pickups.
Alright.
But I did get that one, so that one is in my house.
I like the Diddy Kong.
Yeah, the Diddy Kong is pretty cool. I have Donkey Kong, so why not just get all the Kongs together? But with that said, I mean, they are the amiibos, and you know, Player 1 is always making fun of me, just like I'm always making fun of him with driving games.
Oh yeah, I can't collect amiibos. Like, what kills me is I think they're too expensive. I just think they're too expensive. I buy them when they're cheap and I like them, but I don't know. It's like I think it'd be a danger for me to get into.
I completely agree, and I try not to pay full price. Like Diddy Kong, I think I got it for $4.99, and these other guys I had a coupon from Best Buy, the Gamers Club, so I ended up using that plus the Gamers Club discount, so it ended up being very cheap. But anyway. I'll let Player 1 come in because he's signaling me that I should put the amiibos away. Right. So with
you're gonna have to zoom in.
Am I?
I think so. Look, can you see that?
I think they can see it. I mean, reading the letters is pretty hard, but.
Well, I'll just tell you guys the names in case you can't see them. So recently, if you were hip to what was going on at GameStop, obviously I guess it's hypocritical. I hate buying at GameStop because I think they're douches a lot of the time. The company, the way they do a lot of things, but those buy two get one frees is really an easy way to get a lot of games for cheap that otherwise you can't really find sometimes.
Well, actually, let me help you. I'm gonna stop you right there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better.
Oh, nobody gets like motion sickness.
No.
All right. So here are some games. You're gonna see a ton of that stuff that I think you picked up a lot from there too, right?
I did.
Yeah. I have it's just worth it because a buy two get one free is hard to beat.
Here's my take on GameStop. I hate them, but unfortunately, the way the market is and the way the industry is, they're a necessary evil. I hate them. I really do despise going inside of a GameStop and shopping around, but they're a necessary evil because without them, I mean, what other places besides Best Buy and Walmart would you get games, physical games at? And at this point, even older generation games like DS, 3DS,
yeah,
Wii.
You have to go to those like retro stores, which are expensive, man.
They are expensive, and at that point, we will probably, if GameStop wasn't still around, we'd probably have an immense amount of physical games just lost.
I'll tell you one thing. My collection. When I started really getting into collecting a few years ago, when I got back into gaming, like that's how I built my collection. Those buy two get one frees built my 360 collection, as you guys have seen if you check out some of our other videos.
That's the way I did it too, and I'll give you guys some pointers right now. That's how I started. I started very small, and I started getting as many as I could with the buy two get one free, and I started with the $1.99, $2.99 games, $4.99 games.
I will say this: back in the day, you could find like I used to buy games that they were like 49 cents, really old 360 games, or even the DS games. You really could find a bunch of them for $1. they changed that crap. As they've been doing worse, again getting worse, they've raised the prices. You really don't find games under like $2 anymore.
Yeah.
But they're still cheaper than looking for them anywhere else.
I completely agree.
But alright, I guess let me go through this. So here are some of the games. You'll see more as we go along. We got the Legendary Starfy, New Zealand Story, Code Lyko, Hall of Xana, or XANA, I don't know. Space Invaders Extreme 2, and Monkey, what does that say? I forgot something, Monkey Ball?
Monkey Ball, yeah.
Alright, so check this out. So just a quick, if you're not familiar with these games, the Legendary Starfy is kind of like a platformer. It's like a failed, almost Kirby type of game. It's very interesting though, and it really isn't that bad. I just don't think it did really well when it came out. The New Zealand Story is also another platformer. Pretty interesting also. I think it's almost like a hidden gem because I'm not sure many people recognize that one. Code of Lyko, I never played it growing up, but I know a lot of people have. I always see when people talk about Code of Lyko, them playing as a kid on the DS or on the Wii, so I don't know. I decided to pick it up because again, it was on the cheap. It's kind of like a turn-based light RPG. Space Invaders Extreme 2. This is a sequel to Space Invaders Extreme. Space Invaders Extreme, if you don't know, it's they Atari, or I don't know who licensed the company, but they came back with Space Invaders and they made it kind of like a hip, new, old school Space Invaders mixed with like a rhythm game, in the sense that you hear like there's cool music and like rave music. If you're from the 90s and you know what rave is, but like techno kind of music. And so this is a sequel to that, and really it's just as fun as the first. I think it's very cool. It's an interesting way to play Space Invaders. And then Monkey Ball. Monkey Ball is a quirky game. In that game, you're kind of if you can think of those marble games that are on the Wii, where you're kind of like a marble, you're trying to get through a map without falling off. That's kind of what it's like. It's interesting, kind of weird games to really spice up my library, and also they were on the cheap. So there you go.
And they were buy two get one free.
Yeah. Hey guys, sorry we had to cut. We had a weird malfunction. Well, not weird. It's just that we kind of have a crappy camera, and so it ran out of battery.
Yeah, I still haven't been able to buy anything better. So with that said, I do want to talk about these games. With the buy two get one free, Player One told me that GameStop is offering, and I was kind of hesitant at first because I had spent a lot of my money in July on a lot of things that I'm going to show you guys, but I couldn't pass up on these offers. I mean, yes,
I got some good ones.
Yes, I did, and I didn't get the cases for them, unfortunately, because that's what they sent me. But I did enjoy the purchase because again, they were $4.99, and it was buy two get one free. So incredible buy for me, at least. I got Panzer Dragoon, which is an amazing game. I had never played it before, and Player One suggested me getting it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
Panzer Dragoon.
I was blown away. I was like, oh my god, this game was on the Xbox.
I think the Xbox is one of those systems that like there's a ton of great looking games at great frame rates that are surprising that it was happening at that time.
Yes,
and that's definitely one of them. That game's awesome.
Yes, and I was extremely surprised. I love the fact that you're flying in a dragon and you're shooting at everything around you, but it's the frame rate and just the action is there. I mean, for its time, I was blown away. And again, another game I got here is Space Invaders, because again, Player One was like, get Space Invaders and let me try it out. I've enjoyed it so far. So it is Space Invaders, so I can't really go too much into detail. You guys know.
Did you like the music in it?
I did like the music in it. I thought it was a refreshing change to the traditional Space Invaders. But again, and here without further ado, we have Final Fantasy VIII, and I actually have the game already, and I have the original case.
It's like the greatest hits. Is that what it is?
I
But I think there's different discs.
There are different
versions.
There are different versions. I have the greatest hits version, but one of the discs on mine doesn't work anymore. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I'm kind of left without it. I think it was disc number 3.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I ended up
You're
buying
good
it. Buy two get one free.
And I haven't played this Final Fantasy, so I know it's something.
Yeah, so I'll be lending it to Player One soon, and hopefully he won't break it. So other things we have here is Spider-Man.
I loved Spider-Man growing up. I played it on the Dreamcast, so it's a little better, I think, than the PlayStation version.
Yeah, this
But
brought
I
a lot
loved
of
it, man.
this brought a lot of nostalgia to me, and it's just refreshing going back into Spider-Man and swinging through the roofs of buildings or through the skyscrapers, and just it brought a lot of nostalgia back, and it brought a lot of the old feelings that I had of swinging between buildings And now that I see it, there are some things that I look at it and be like, oh, this is kind of old. But there are a lot of things that I look at it now. I look at the game and it's just like, wow, I can't believe we had these games back then, because I think a lot of the magic has been lost in modern consoles. That's what I think. I mean, you guys tell me in the comment section if that's what you think as well. But I think games were being made better back in the day.
I mean, there's always that idea that back in the day, if your game was broken, you kind of got screwed. Your game failed. Kind of like Advent Rising. Because you had it wasn't until the next printing that you could have any kind of patch that you wanted.
That is correct.
Now it's too easy to just throw it out the door no matter what it is and just, we'll get back to you.
That is correct. Or if a story wasn't complete, your game did not sell.
Because there's no DLC after that.
Exactly. And there is some good with updates and there is some bad. Mostly bad because it leads to lazy developing. Just like what you see in Final Fantasy 15, where like the story is incoherent, or the ending of Metal Gear, the last Metal Gear. But it is what it is. Anyway, moving on, I have Evil Dead.
That's another one I played a lot on Dream. Oh, you got it on Dreamcast. Cool.
Yes, I did, and I did not have that on Dreamcast, and I've never played it.
That's a good one.
So for me, it was kind of hard getting past the first level for some reason. I just didn't know what I had to do.
It's the tank controls a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So the monsters will appear in the cabin, and I was trying to figure out what do I need to do, but again, I played it for like 5 minutes, and then I started playing Spider-Man and Panzer Dragon.
A lot of those old games, and again, I think we're spoiled today, because when I go back and think and play some of those old games are tough, man. They don't hold your hand. They don't really tell you exactly what to do, which, it's debatable if that's a good thing or bad thing. Sometimes I like games to be clear. If you watch the Horizon Zero Dawn review that I did, that was one of my critiques, was that they never tell you how to do some things, some mechanics in the game. On the other hand, games like Evil Dead, you're kind of expected to figure out as you're playing them in the old days.
Yes.
Like the old Resident Evils, you kind of just had to run around and figure out what was next.
And that's one of the things, but I'll add to that. Back in the day, you used to get a manual. You don't get a manual today. Right. So if you don't even know the button layout, you kind of have to look for it online, because if not, you're kind of lost, especially if you don't know. With fighting games, that's another thing.
Yeah, I hate that with fighting games. Every single fighting game must have a mandatory manual, because it's easy to leave for a month, you come back and you forgot the moves. I mean, it's stupid not to have that.
Exactly. And also, I mean, it's a testament to old games, how the progression system. But anyway, moving on, I've got Die Hard Trilogy.
Man, you got some good games here.
Yes. That game, I've never played it. I wanted to get it as soon as I saw it, because I love the Die Hard trilogy. The Die Hard, is it 5 movies now?
I think now it's 4, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But the trilogy was good, the original trilogy.
The original trilogy was good. And back in the day when I was looking at this game, I never was able to buy it. And I always wanted to play part 3, which starts out as a car. You're driving in the taxi and you're trying to get to the.
Oh, I haven't played that.
Yeah.
I know it's in there, right? Because that I remember a long time ago, because I have that Die Hard trilogy. It was like it had like each game was different. Like one was like a shooter.
Yes,
like
one is in the Nakatomi, if I'm pronouncing it right. One is the Nakatomi building.
Oh, dude, you remember?
And yeah,
cool.
And I love Die Hard. And the other one was in the airport. But the third one I wanted to play, because I remember watching it as a kid and just being like, oh, I want to play it. And now I have it.
Game.
Yeah, it is. It's
a driving game.
Yeah, it's a driving
Almost game. Like a racing game.
It's a little bit different. It's Die Hard. All right.
I don't remember. Did they actually use Bruce Willis's voice?
I don't know.
Oh, I gotta check.
I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I was just kind of like into the moment.
Let us know in the comments below if you know the answer to that.
I doubt they used Bruce Willis's voice. But anyway, I got Grand Theft Auto here, Vice City, and this was kind of like a 2-part deal. So it comes with Grand Theft Auto. If I can take it off here. Oh, look, another Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so that
so it comes with Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3. And if you guys know about Grand Theft Auto, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys already know. It's a fun game, and this kind of brought a lot of nostalgia back to me, because Grand Theft Auto Vice City was one of the first games I played on the Xbox, and watching it all over again just at the very beginning when you start, it brought back a lot of feelings or a lot of nostalgia that I just had when I was getting an Xbox. One of my first systems was, like I said, an NES, but one of the systems that I had growing up, if I can express myself correctly, was that actually propelled me forward, like into gaming, like hardcore, was the Xbox, because there was Halo, there was Grand Theft Auto, and there was a lot of other games like I'm gonna spoil it right now, but there was Time Splitters. These were all games that growing up I enjoyed a lot, and even to a certain extent I enjoyed probably more than the NES, because I was already a little bit more grown. I wasn't a child, so I probably took more. It got a lot of my how would I describe it? It got a lot of love from me, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So, Player One's just making faces like I'm crazy.
No, I get you. For me too, I think just sitting down and playing Halo. I spent hours on Halo, and then when Halo 2 came out, how awesome that was. And for me, coming some of the sequels, like for me, I love the Soul Reaver series, and playing the last one, concluding that story on the Xbox was what I really, really remember. But I think for me, the system that really got me into gaming, not hardcore like I guess I am now. I don't know if I'm hardcore or not, but was like the Dreamcast. Because just so many games, and I got that as a Christmas gift, and like that just blew me away, playing Code Veronica, all these games, man.
You see, I had the Dreamcast, but I didn't appreciate it at the time. I appreciate it now. Now that I'm older, I look back on it and I'm like, wow, man, I really didn't appreciate you.
I'll tell you one thing, something that's kind of interesting now that I'm older and I kind of buy and collect games, is that, in the old days, I got a system and maybe I had like 10 games, right? 10, sometimes 6 or 7 games. I think for the N64, I just had like the main staple that everybody had. Most of everything I kind of rented and gave back. Now, I can't think of a single system that I have less than like 20, 30, and sometimes hundreds of games.
Well, that's
so
one thing. That's one thing I'll add to your statement is, yes, I was like that, and now that I look back, I kind of think of myself as being stupid and naive, because there's a lot of games, either in my Xbox collection, the original Xbox, and in my PS2 collection, that I just sold for chump change.
I think that happened to a lot of us, man.
And now that I'm grown, I'm like, man, you were stupid, Player 2. If I would go back in time, I'd beat myself up and I'd keep the games.
You imagine if you would go back in time, I wouldn't sell anything and I'd buy all those games. Just have like a complete like SNES collection or something. That would be crazy, man.
I'm about to tell you guys something that happened to me as a kid. I don't know, you guys share in the comment section if this happened to you or something similar, but I used to have a huge G.I. Joe collection and a huge
G.I. Joe.
Yes, G.I. Joe and Transformer collection. I had the bases. I had, if you guys know about G.I. Joe, I had the Terradrome. I had the Rolling Thunder. All these bases, and I also had the G1 collection of Transformers. I had Megatron as a.
See, for me, it was more like the Beast Wars. I had every single Beast Wars.
Yeah.
That basically came out.
So, as I was saying, I had a lot of toys that now are considered very collectible. So, my aunt came over one day, and we were having like a kids party or whatever, a pool party, and while I was in the pool party, she just said, Player 2, he's already too old for these toys. So she grabbed them all, put them in a bag, and she threw them away. And while I was in the pool party, they came. Of course, people saw the toys in the garbage can. They picked it up immediately. So when I got back to my room, they were all gone. I had a huge fit, but now that I still to this day cannot forgive her for it. But.
Yeah, grown-ups don't understand, man. We're grown-ups now, and I don't think I would ever do something like that to a child of mine, but we grew up different, in a different time. I think grown-ups of the old days, you talk to a grandparent, they're like, video games? What? That's a waste of time. They don't really know that today. And it's like the #1 entertainment, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, that even now, some people think of video games as something like a pastime, and they're not. They're a serious industry, and like we have here, people go to YouTube to watch videos. Yeah. But anyway.
All right, well, I guess to continue about what I picked up. So I picked up a bunch of kind of garbage, almost shovelware, but it was cheap. Got it from a thrift store for like 50 cents each.
Well, if you don't want it, I'll take it, dude.
No, I'll hold on to it for now. I got Guitar Hero, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2003, Tiger Woods, same thing, 09, Driver, Rock Band, and Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. So all of these were 50 cents a piece. I don't know if I even care about having them. I was never a Rock Band and Guitar Hero person. I know enough about music that like it didn't really interest me to spend time playing those games. I played them a little bit. Yeah, it's more of like a coordination thing than it is really playing an instrument. But I can see if you don't know or if you're not a musician, whatever the case is. But for me, I never got into those. Even less the golf games. I don't think I've ever in my life played a single golf game. But I'll try it at some point. We'll see. This is interesting though, because this is not actually what's in here. When I opened it, DOA 2 Hardcore is in here. So I don't know what that's about, but either way, I don't own DOA 2, so be it. All right.
So that's all you gotta say?
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can think of right now.
I mean, well, at least you're collecting. I, on the other hand, love all my games, even the shovelware games.
It's because you're a hoarder. You're like that collector from Marvel, dude. Anything.
Yeah, I would be. I would be. I mean, to be honest, if I could collect everything I wanted to, man, I would have like a warehouse. And not just any warehouse. I'd have like a multi-story warehouse.
You have your own mountain.
Exactly. But anyway, I got 4 of these games. I got Killzone, Commandos, Strike Force, Call of Duty 2, Red, Big Red 1, and Ghost Recon Jungle Storm. Now I got these on the cheap. I got them in a Goodwill, and they were about $2 a piece.
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's okay. It is pretty good. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the condition that they're in, they are good. So, for example, they all come with their manual.
Oh, that's nice.
And they're all in near perfect condition. The discs are without a scratch.
Nice.
So, awesome. By the way, they're all online. So, testament to the PS2. Killzone 1, I have played it. I had a pretty old version, like a disc that had a lot of scratches, but I never had a complete with a box and the manual. So this is a refreshing take on it because it's gonna go right into my collection, and now I have a complete Killzone. So Commando Strike Force, it started out pretty cool. I mean, it's a World War II game, so it's kind of like those traditional World War II games that you used to play, like Call of Duty. So it's fun. I mean, what else can I say? It's just like every other Call of Duty that you pick up.
Makes sense.
So same thing can be said for Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. When I will tell you this, when I picked this one up and I started playing it, I now understand how Call of Duty has gone the way it is, because right at the beginning it feels like a movie. People are dying, there's tanks moving all over the place, explosions and so forth. So it's the traditional Call of Duty, and if you look at that and you look at where Call of Duty has gone, or where it is now, you can understand that the franchise really hasn't changed. So whatever.
Only for the worse, anyway.
Yeah, it has. But
Killzone was one of those games that I never played the original on the PS2, but I have like that PS3 one that comes with all 3 parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know which one you mean.
And like, I liked it. It's just it's old, but it's still pretty good for a game back then, I think.
I will tell you, I was blown away by Killzone. I picked it up again and I played it, and I was blown away. I was in the trenches, and just the gun and the movements and everything, how fluid and how it looked, even for back then, the graphics on it, I was just like, oh my god, it looks really nice, and it really is a testament to the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, that was a great system.
Now Ghost Recon Jungle Storm, I really didn't like it. I mean, I'm gonna keep it because, again, I bought it and I want to complete a collection, but it started in the jungle. I didn't really know what I had to do. I'm running around and I'm getting shot off by people in the jungle, and I don't know where the gunfire is coming from. I can see it from the actual icon that is showing red from where the shots are being fired from, but I don't see anybody there. And so I'm trying to control my squad to go where where everybody's firing from, but I just couldn't get into it.
Makes sense.
Maybe it's me, or maybe it's not for me, but You guys tell me in the comment section. But anyway,
All right, so
that's what I got
next,
for PS2.
I'm gonna put up a bunch of DS and 3DS games I got. How many? Does that fit on screen?
I think so.
Not on screen. What do they call it? In the shop? Is that what they call it? Is that like
Look at this guy using big words.
film lingo? All right. So here are 6 games I picked up for the 3DS. Green Lantern: Rise of the Manhunters, Adventure Time: Secret Nameless King, maybe? I don't know what the whole name
Yeah,
is.
it's the Secret Nameless King.
Dual Pen Sports, Cradle of Egypt 2, Tom Clancy Splinter Cell 3D, and Hidden. So, just a quick roundabout about each one. This is actually came out as a companion, more or less, to the Green Lantern: Rise of the Manhunters for the 360 and the PS3, based on the movie. So there's judgments out on that movie. A lot of people didn't like that Green Lantern movie, but they released a game, and I really like the game because Green Lantern's, I think, one of my favorite heroes because it's a cool idea. You can make anything that you think about. The console version isn't horrible. I think it's an actually okay game. It's cool to make the constructs, and it plays in full 3D, which is awesome. And if you don't have a 3D TV, you can actually use the glasses that come in the console, so that's cool. This, however, is not the same thing. Excuse me. It's not the same thing. It's a completely different game. So it's not like where they just port a game. It's a completely different game. It's like a 2D kind of side-scrolling weird thing. It's not that great, but it is something I've been wanting to pick up and just kind of play through because I want to see how different it is. Even story-wise, I think even the story changes. So that's kind of weird. Adventure Time, if you know that cartoon, I didn't grow up watching that cartoon, but I saw the game and it looked interesting. It's kind of like a wannabe Zelda clone. That's what it is, like a short Zelda clone. So it looks cool. Dual Pen Sports is basically just what it sounds like. You use 2 styluses and you use that to play different kinds of sports, and it basically helps work on your coordination. You have Hidden. This is kind of a weird game that deals with somewhat like augmented reality where you use a 3D camera and then you see ghosts based on that and you have to like fight them and investigate, something like that. It's okay. Tom Clancy Splinter Cell, I think that's kind of cool. It's actually the original one from the Xbox. Obviously, this is not going to be the best version. It's not going to have the best frame rate. It's on the 3DS, but it is in 3D, which is kind of cool. And for the most part, they did a pretty good job porting it with as far as the mechanics are concerned. So I think that's kind of cool. Lastly, Cradle of Egypt is like one of those puzzle games that became really popular back in the day. I think when cell phones and iPads were first coming out, where you connect kind of like 4 of a kind, that kind of thing. I didn't even really get it for me. I got it for a family member who really doesn't play games. And I was like, maybe this is an easy way for them to start kind of playing stuff.
I'll add to it, the Dual Pen Sports. You know, I could never get into the whole gimmick of using the pen on the 3DS. To me, it was kind of cumbersome. And
It's really hard for shooters, I'll tell you that. Like, there's a cool game, Dementium, I think it's called. Where like it's kind of like a horror kind of shooter, survival horror kind of thing, but it's more of a shooter. The point is, for that one, you have to use the stylus with the control pad, so that's kind of tough. But whatever.
So here I've got like an odd selection. Trying to work my way into the PC game. So I got Bruce Almighty. I got it at a library for 50 cents.
Really?
Yeah, so I enjoyed the movie, so I got it for 50
Did you mention
cents.
that last time?
Yeah, I did.
Remember.
Yes, I did. I did buy some movies at a library, but I was just walking around and I just happened to see
That's
it.
kind of cool.
Yeah, nobody was getting these movies, so
Really
I just
did?
got. Yeah, I did get.
Tell me you didn't pay a lot of money for that.
No, I paid $10 for it.
I guess it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's actually an interesting game. I still haven't opened it because, again, I haven't played much anything with the Switch. So except for
Do you own one? No, right?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, when I own one, I'll have at least some games. But again, it was on the
You
cheap.
need it because there's not many to play, I guess.
No, there's not much, and I really cannot do that whole online chat thing with their
that's
stupid
ridiculous.
connections. Anyway,
Yeah. Does it include the war?
actually, I don't think so.
What? No, it
No,
has to.
it does. It does. I'm just kidding. It does have the legendary battle.
Okay. Which was it was like 5 minutes disappointment. But whatever. Japanese one was better.
Well, everything in Japanese in Japan, everything in Look at me, I can't even say it now.
So you're so excited you can't say it.
Everything in Japan is kind of better when it comes to anime and Power Rangers and a
Yeah.
lot of other series.
Except that one train one. That one was kind of like it.
Yeah, but anyway, if you guys know about Power Rangers and how much I like it, you'll understand why I got this. It was on the cheap. It was $4.99 on Amazon.
Oh,
so,
not bad.
So it's got the whole Super Mega Force complete season.
It doesn't include the Mega Force. Like it's two separate things, right?
It does not include the Mega Force season,
But it's
but
the Super Mega Force.
it's the Super Mega Force, and I already had the Mega Force season, so
Okay.
this only completes it. But
This was a good time during this time, like the keys and all that. That was awesome. We
It was.
We weren't making videos then, but we could have made videos of all those keys that we picked up.
yeah, if you guys don't know, what happened was that there's two stories that are happening. The Japanese version is completely different story, but the American version basically is the Power Rangers have keys that with those keys they can transform into old Rangers or at least have their powers. And during the whole Super Mega Force season, old Power Rangers would appear in cameos and stuff like that. Excuse me. So they would appear, and in the legendary battle,
Or a lot of them. did.
a lot of them appeared, but not really a lot.
It was like, again, we go back and we can have a whole video on all the mistakes Saban has made as a corporation, as a company, whatever you want to call it. They did such a gimmick, such a bad short thing in this cameo that like it didn't really feel like it should have been. When you watch the legendary battle or whatever they call it in Japan, it's like 3 episodes long and it's like non-stop crazy action.
Yeah, so if you guys you might not be Power Ranger fans, but at least I would think that you guys can appreciate it. In Japan, every single Power Ranger from the
Ever.
very beginning ever that has made it on the screen appears and has a huge battle. They call it the legendary battle.
What was Sentai? Was it in the 70s?
I think so.
It's old, man.
It's old.
Yeah.
So they all appear and they have this huge battle against, evil forces and all that. But in the American version, that's supposed to take place as well, but they kind of skimped out. They instead of making it like the Japanese where they have multiple episodes, they just kind of did into 2, and it was kind of like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But
it's a shame.
It's
It could
a
be
shame.
worse. It could be a ridiculous cameo at the end of the movie.
Oh, it could be worse. It could be the movie itself.
Yeah, it could
But
be the movie. Well, whatever.
anyway.
I think you mentioned you got that cheap, right?
yes, I did. I got it for $1.99.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Now, I never. Well, I should refrain. I never played this game until I got it on PC because I was completely angry and blown away of the whole thing that happened with Watch Dogs. How they showed you a Watch Dogs that was amazing, and then
That's
they
how
bust-
it is, man. That's the Ubisoft staple. Show you
Yeah.
an awesome game that looks great, and then show you one that doesn't look half as good.
Yeah, it's like they show you like a game that's next gen, and when you get it, it's like 8-bit. That's the meme online. But anyway, I got Tekken 3 and for the
cool.
PS1, and this one I got it for 50 cents. It was just laying
Not
around.
bad.
It was laying around in a Goodwill, and I just didn't have a cover, just the disc. But it turned out that the disc is flawless.
Nice.
So I got that, and I'm having fun with it because it brings back a lot of nostalgia playing old fighting games. But
All right.
it is what it is. We get Tekken out of here.
I was never too much into Tekken. I like, obviously I've always been a Mortal Kombat person, but I also like Street Fighter somewhat. But Tekken, I never got into it too much. And I own a bunch of Tekken games, I just haven't gotten into it. Well, we'll put this one.
Yeah, just give it to me.
Alright, so here's some stuff I picked up from a thrift store and some of it from the Buy to Get One Free. So this is weird, Chess Masters. I don't know, it was 50 cents and I said, hey, maybe I'll learn how to be a good chess player. Big Game Hunter.
If it's from Ubisoft, don't expect much.
Oh crap, I didn't even notice that, man. Oh well. This is like a hunting game, I guess, like those Cabela or Cabela, whatever, however you pronounce it. So be it. Tekken Knights Brave Battle. This is kind of a cool game. It's like a 2D action kind of game where you can fight and there's multiplayer aspects to it. It's kind of cool. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I'm sure a lot of you played Tony Hawk growing up. I know I did. Not that copy. I think I played it on... Jeez, I don't remember what system. But the point is, that's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Not many surprises there. I also picked up Moshi Monsters Katsuma Unleashed. That's interesting. It's like a platformer based on Moshi Monsters, which I think is some cartoon or I don't know what's the story with that, but it's interesting. One thing I noticed that kind of turned me off, I hope it's not that my copy is damaged, is that when you put the 3D effect on, the frame rate drops massively. I'm talking about like it feels slow, which, you know, on the 3DS, talking about frame rate, there's nothing to talk about because it's not like there's awesome frame rates on it. But that one kind of surprised me a little bit. It was a little weird. Lastly, Shantae Half Genie Hero. I've been wanting to get a copy of that, which unfortunately, I'm so pissed it doesn't have the box. So that kind of bummed me out a little bit when I ordered it. But at least I got a copy on Vita, so I'm kind of happy about that.
Cool.
Pass me that.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, I didn't mention this. Sorry. I kind of skipped over it because it's garbage. That's how bad it is. I picked this up because in the thrift store, I got it and the game was missing. I guess somebody stole it, or more than likely somebody did the right thing and burned it. So what I did, I said, can I just have the case? And they let me have the case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all this disgusting crap off and use it for a DS case.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay, so with that said, I guess it's my turn.
So how many times is that in the video? 2?
Well, it doesn't matter. My fans love me for it.
Oh yeah? Let me know in the comments below if you like the fact that player 2 says "with that said" every 2 seconds. So you love him for that.
So with that said, and I'll do it even more now that you're conscious of it. So to the point that it drives you crazy. Anyway, these are some games that I got on Goodwill, and when player 1 told me that, you know, he didn't have Shantae the Genie.
You're a jerk, dude. I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, when he didn't get it, the case and the cover art and all that, I said, what can I do for player 1? I went out and bought the one with the case and
is
cover.
that for me?
No, that's not for you. That's for me.
That's funny, man.
So it brings the soundtrack and the game and all of that. So, and it's a nice case. So I'll probably go ahead and make like a special frame for it, and every time player 1 comes over, it'll be right there where he can see it.
I'll get it eventually. I was debating, actually. I saw that they had that. I think it's for like $20 in GameStop or whatever. But I wanted the Vita version. But it's a nice. I think it's a cool game. I think it's also become kind of popular.
Yeah, it's a cool game. I think it's a little bit overpriced, but it's a cool game.
All right. So what else you got?
So I got these PC games. Yeah, I got this one at Walmart for $5, as you can tell. It is the complete collection, and it plays amazing. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it plays amazing on my PC at I think I'm playing part 1 at 120 frames.
Yeah, I bet.
Busting. So
Busting.
Busting.
People don't know what that means.
Okay.
That's a phrase we use, but explain that busting.
Okay, basically, if something is awesome, it's busting. And if it's
Why is it busting?
And there's even a level above that. It's called busting a nut. So that means
We're gonna censor this, man.
anyway, I'm just making it up, but it's basically, we have a lot of words that we use sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
I like busting though.
yeah,
I don't say it on videos, but now you said it. I'm gonna say
yeah.
it.
So in any case,
All right.
it's awesome. The Battlefield 1942 collection. For some reason, I couldn't get it to play on my PC, so it plays on my older PC.
Oh yeah, maybe that's it.
So because they are old games, it did kind of play, but there was some stuttering and it wasn't stable. So I'm playing it on an older PC and it works perfectly fine.
I don't know what that is.
You know, I haven't played it either.
Let us know in the console if you played that. I don't think I've even heard of that. Solar Empire. It's an RTS though, so that's kind of cool. You're into StarCraft, right? I think. You were big
Yes,
into
I am.
StarCraft? Yeah.
Yeah, I love the whole lore of StarCraft, the Queen of Blades, all that. But anyway,
What's that? Ream 3 or Rem 3?
what do you mean?
This thing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this one still. But anyway, Ram 3, I don't know. It's an old PC game. It looks like
a
kind
walking
of like
simulator kind of thing.
it looks like it, but I have no idea what it's about. I just recently bought it right before the pickup, so I haven't gotten a chance to play it. But
Oh, okay.
again,
It's like that horrible everyone goes to a rapture.
no, I don't think so. I mean, I hope not, but I have no idea what this game is about. So if you guys know about it, please tell me in the comment section. I mean, it's very old. It says right here it works with Windows 98, Windows Millennium, and Windows 2000.
Millennium.
Yeah. Oh, and Vista and XP. Wow, look at that. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, I'll get these out of the way so player 1 can talk about more stuff.
right, let's see.
Go ahead, put it.
Oh, okay. Alright, I could probably do more.
Do one more.
Alright.
Come on, let's
Let's
There
go
you
all
go.
out. Alright, here we go. So we got Trauma Center Second Opinion. We play Nomley. I don't know why it says that. Star Wars Rogue Leaders, Rogue Squadron 2, PN03, Spiderwick Chronicles, and Nintendo Land. So this game is very interesting, and the Trauma Center series is actually, it's just kind of quirky Japanese, definitely Japanese stuff, if that makes sense. They have stories, but you're kind of like a paramedic, and each one has a different story. But basically, you do use the Wii remote to do surgery, to perform surgery, and in the middle of that, you have like love triangles and all this kind of just weird, quirky characters. So it's interesting. Wii Play is just that. I think it's one of those like Wii Sports kind of things. This is an awesome game, by the way. Rogue Leader. If you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend it. I remember playing it quite a bit many years ago, but I didn't have a copy, so I picked it up. PN03. So this is a weird game. I picked it up basically solely on the name because I've heard that it's kind of like a hidden gem and all that. I played a little of it. I think it's coming out of the Resident Evil kind of franchise, if I'm not mistaken. It's Capcom, obviously. But I think they were trying to do like an action game. The gimmick is she's some kind of special super soldier or like an assassin. She's on a mission and she has a special suit. And the suit shoots beams and all that. But the gimmick comes into play is that she dances constantly while doing it. I played about 20-30 minutes of it. I hated it. I really did. I don't know why it's a hidden gem. If it is, maybe I'm wrong. If it is or isn't. But man, is the gameplay horrible. You can't shoot and move. You gotta stay standing and dancing away, which is kind of cool. That doesn't look horrible. The graphics aren't even that bad. It's the fact that like you just get killed. Maybe I just suck. I don't know, but I couldn't even get past the first level. It was annoying me because like you have to dance and stand there and dance, and then you can't really dodge really well. It's just the controls are finicky. They're funky. Maybe I'll go back to it one day, but I was kind of disappointed with that. Then you got Spiderwick Chronicles. It's based on the movie, and the movie was actually one of those kid movies that are it's pretty good. Probably more kid slash like teenager movie. You know, for a kid movie it was fun, and I picked up the game because the game looked okay. It probably is not as good, or I imagine the one on 360 is better, but so what? I got it on the cheap. Again, part of that buy to go free. Last thing, Nintendo Land. I do own a Wii U, and it was not $40. Obviously, I picked it up cheaper. Nintendo Land is kind of a quirky, again, those party games that the Wii became popular for, but now on the Wii U, it was more like where you play a bunch of different mini games based on some of the characters. So there's like a Mario mini game. I think there's also like a Metroid Prime kind of thing. Again, it doesn't blow you away, but it's just kind of a game on the Wii U. And since the library on Wii U, as far as pretty good games, is not that big really. At least I don't think so. From what I've collected, I decided to pick it up because it is okay.
Yeah, I mean the Wii is kind of like a, well, it's not kind of, it is a dead system.
The Wii U or
The Wii U, sorry. It is a dead system, and it's a shame because if Nintendo would have actually balls out and actually made a Zelda game during the Wii U, mind you, I don't count Breath of the Wild because they really made Breath of the Wild kind of for the Switch. They kind of they were making it during the Wii U,
but like they removed features just for the Switch. They basically screwed people over. That's what they did.
Yeah, so they could have made a Metroid and a whole bunch of other games, but whatever. And Star Fox sucked, so. But it is what it is. So I got some PS3 titles that I've been wanting to get for a long time. I know you guys are gonna talk about this one, but I'll start from
Gears of War clone.
Yeah, I'll start from the left. Under Night in Birth. I've been wanting to get that game for a long time, and I was pleasantly surprised that when I ordered it in the buy two get one free from GameStop, it came in the case and it had the manual and the game. So I was pleasantly surprised because I've been wanting that game for a long time.
It's like an anime fighter, right? Like a 2D fighter.
Yeah, it is a fighter. It's a 2D fighter, and it is anime style. It barely has any story to be honest, but it's one of those games that appealed to me, at least visually, and I wanted to play it. And now that I've played it a little bit, I've enjoyed it. So
cool.
Don't pay more than, $10 $10 for it, but that's pushing it. But anyway, it was fun. And Dynasty Warriors Strike Force, what a refreshing Dynasty Warriors. I mean, it's
Really?
like they got the formula right on this game. They have powers. It's just a fun Dynasty Warriors. Yes, it is the traditional Dynasty Warriors. You have a ton of people fighting in the field, and you kind of have to fight them, and there's bosses and all that. But you have powers, and unfortunately, the multiplayer, or if you want to call it that, there's nobody. It's a skeleton crew basically at this point. I mean, but it was fun. It was, if I am correct, it was originally on the PSP, and then they did it for the PS3. But it is a very fun game, so I would recommend it if you guys have it. Definitely on the PSP.
I think Dynasty Warriors in general can be fun. It can get old, but they've done something smart. This thing that they've started licensing out like that brand to like different companies like Hyrule Warriors or the Arslan, all that stuff. I think it's smart because really they're kind of you get the characters you like, and then you also combine with Dynasty Warriors, which is kind of a fun, mind-numbing experience, just button smasher, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And then I got Guided Fate Paradox. This one was recommended to me by a friend. They said if you know, it's almost like it's not a hidden gem per se, but it's kind of hard to get.
I think it's hard to get a physical copy of that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I was able to get it, and I haven't played it yet, so I don't know too much about it. I believe it's like it's like you become God or something.
Yeah,
like
it's an RPG. If I remember correctly, it's like I think you die or something. They tell you you're gonna become God, and so you become God, and there's like a whole typical, like funny anime kind of RPG. If that makes sense.
So I'm gonna give it a try during the summer. So we'll see. Now this one, the cream de la crop of crap, Quantum Theory. Now you may ask, why would you get that game if you have other games that are probably like 20 times better? Well, I never really got to play Quantum Theory, and I never got to experience how horrible it was. So
You really?
I'm a masochist when it comes to that. So
I only played a little bit of it. I have it, but maybe I'll go back. There are all these games that I want to go back and do reviews of, but why you make that face, man?
because you're interrupting me, man. I'm in my moment. I want to talk about this bad game. I'm just kidding, but anyway, I wanted to play it. The reason why I wanted to get it is because they had something good mixed in with a whole lot of bad. The good part was that I like the whole thing about the environment moving, the whole landscape, how you can ride it and so forth. But there's a lot of issues with this game. I mean, when it comes to the whole Gears of War clone, the look, the fighting, the shooting, there's a lot of things that they took from a lot of games, and they ended up not doing any of it right. But overall, it is a game that for me I wanted to experience. It doesn't matter how bad it was, but it is what it is. And if you're buying it for like 99 cents, $1, $2, I can see recommending it so you can experience it. But anything above that, then you're getting robbed.
Makes sense.
No, I'm not.
Feel satisfied now?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that.
All right.
It's got my seal of approval
At 99 cents.
at 99 cents.
All right.
So,
All right. Let's see what I got left.
with that said,
I have got a couple of PS3 games of my own, and like you had said, a bit of a spoiler, a game that you mentioned before. So first, I picked up Time Splitters. This is part 1, Future Perfect, Armored Core 4 Answer, Aquapaza, and Warriors Legend of Troy. So Time Splitters, if you don't know about it, it's kind of a quirky shooter. It has a short campaign, and the whole gimmick is that you're kind of, I think, making sure time is okay. You're like a time cop kind of.
yeah, and I will add that the game is fluid. It feels like you're almost playing like 60 frames.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's clean. What blew me away the most, and maybe it's Time Splitters 2 more than part 1, is I remember spending hours on end just playing with the bots. You can set up bots and you're playing multiplayer with them, and it's like playing with real people. They really did a good job back then. And this has a map creator, so when you're kind of getting all excited about games like Halo and Doom that have map creators, well, guess what? You could do it a long time ago. Is it at the same sophistication level? No, but you had freedoms as weapons and all that. So I think that's kind of cool. Time Splitters really was one of those games that was just awesome for its time.
Well, I'll chime in on that. And basically, a lot of people now give credit to a lot of developers for doing things that have been around for a long time. Now, granted, certain things haven't have been to the sophistication that we have now, but that's a natural progression of graphics and technology. But to give a lot of credit to some developers that they're almost like creating them, they haven't really created that. They're just reusing the wheel. But Time Splitters is one of those games that you had a map creator. And I remember that when Halo came out, people were glorifying it that you had a map creator, but really it's been done before.
Yeah, and it's gonna be done many times after that.
Yeah.
All right, so then you have Armored Core 4 Answer. It's like a mech fighting game.
Yeah.
I'm not as much into it as you are.
Oh, I love it. Guys, if you haven't seen Armored Core 4 Answer, you have got to see it. But if you can, because it is expensive. There is a collector's edition of Armored Core that is amazing. If you look at somebody, I forget the YouTube channel, but they have like a whole room where they have the buttons and dials and everything.
Oh, like the pedals and all that?
Yeah, they have everything.
Cool, man.
And it is so amazing to play that game in that way that it completely immerses. And this game is amazing even today, because a lot of the things that they have done, I know we see like things like Titanfall and Titanfall 2 where you get in the mech and it opens up and it turns into a screen on the inside. Armored Core has been doing that for a long time, and a lot of things that Armored Core has done are things that you see in anime and in other Japanese creations. But
is it a Japanese game?
I don't know. Armored Core I don't think it's a Japanese game. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to drive is that they've done a lot of things that now, even in games, some of these games don't do. But if they did it in modern times, it would look amazing. And some ideas will be refreshing to see. I would love a modern day Armored Core.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the reasons why I like Titanfall 2, because it was the idea of the robots. That's always cool. It would be nice to have that with like a little bit more focus on the robots. Aquapazza is another 2D kind of anime fighting game. Not much there is exciting. I kind of just picked it up to fill in my collection because I didn't own it. And I know I've heard good things about it. So I got that, and then Warriors Legends of Troy I got only because Player 2, I needed a game to fill in the Bicycle and Free, and he recommended it. So what do you know about it? Because I don't really know anything about it.
Well, at first glance you might think it's a crappy game, and you might be right to a certain extent, but actually it's not that crappy. It's actually an okay game. I mean, you're playing like, again, Warriors of Troy, but...
This is like the movie?
Well, no, it's not the movie, but it's surprisingly refreshing because you play. There are Spartans that you fight and all that, and
that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and the gameplay, the button mashing, it's fun. It's fun. That's as much as I could tell you. I had a good time playing it back in the day, and I played it recently. I would say about a month ago, and I had fun. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters.
So.
Yeah,
I'll just add these in. So I'm gonna go from the top left: Night at the Museum, Battle for the Smithsonian, Zoid's Assault, Project Sylphied.
I think it's Sylphied.
Sylphied, Arc of Deception, Kingdom Under Fire, Wonderful 101, Star Fox Adventures, and Battle Fantasia. So
some pretty good ones in there.
There is Night at the Museum. I found it as a fun game. I know I'm probably gonna get flapped for this, but it is a fun game. It's fun to watch, and the characters in the game, they're playing the same characters as in the movie, and it is funny, and it's fun to actually play. It's not a bad game.
That's the one that Ben Stiller is actually in the game, right? He's the voice, I think.
Yes, I believe so, because it sounds like his voice. I really didn't check it, but. It is fun to play, and there's a funny moment that he gets in a cab, and the cab driver starts talking to him about how technology is changing, everything's getting digital because the museum is using holograms instead of the actual live sculptures and stuff like that. And Ben Stiller's like, yeah, everybody's going all digital, but physical is the way to go. And I was like,
right, that alone is worth it.
that alone, I was like, okay, yeah, I love this game. Zoid's Assault, I haven't played it, but I used to watch the anime. So
Oh, is that based on an anime?
I believe so, yes, because
Okay.
it was called Zoid. So yeah,
Maybe.
So-
I know a little bit about the game. It's like an RTS, like a strategy kind of game. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about it though. That it's not
Really?
that great. Yeah.
so I'm gonna brace myself for some masochism. So projects,
Yo, dude, is that Mike Tyson?
I don't know.
You see it, right?
Yeah, I see it. But
Dude,
anyway,
that has to be Mike Tyson. Man.
Project Selfie actually got my attention. The opening scenes really got my attention, and when I saw the gameplay, I looked it up on YouTube. I just fell in love with it because I love the idea of flying in space and everything's. If I can describe it correctly, you're flying in a spaceship and you're shooting and fighting, but around you there's like other spaceships that are bigger, smaller, and so forth, and it looks kind of like a mix between Macross because you're shooting all over the place, and I'm not really describing it well. So
Is it
basically,
like a space game? Like you're just not playing on a ship?
just imagine like a big space opera, and you remember if you've ever played StarCraft, not StarCraft, sorry, Star Fox. The scenes where the levels where you actually play and there's like a ton of space battles.
But is it on rails or are you flying?
No, you're flying in space
Like freely?
freely.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like
So-
like an airplane combat kind of thing.
Kind of, yes, but
Cool.
it's very
With Mike
different.
Tyson.
Yeah, well, it's very different in the sense that it kind of resembles Macross, where you're shooting a ton of missiles and they're shooting at you with lasers and you're moving around all the place. But it is fun.
That's cool. And it has Mike Tyson.
Yeah, and it has Mike Tyson, whatever.
No, does it really? Do you know? I don't know for like it has to be him, right?
I don't think just because the guy has a tattoo on his
okay.
face.
But it's a black dude with the same face tattoo as like Mike Tyson.
Maybe.
Somebody let me know in the comments if you know. Maybe it was like a gimmick or something. If not, that's like really close to like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, whatever, dude. And look, there's a Bayonetta right there too. Well, we're
I
at it.
guess so.
So, but anyway, yeah, I don't know if they use that for whatever. Maybe, who knows? Moving on, Kingdom Under Fire. That is a very interesting game. It's very, I wouldn't know, I don't know if to call it very long in the sense that there's a lot of hours. There is a lot of grinding. So if you guys do not like grinding, don't get the game, because there is a lot of grinding in the game that you're playing the same variations. No, you're playing the same enemies more or less. You're fighting the same enemies, but you're doing a lot of button mashing. Now the story, it's half there. I did like the sense that it looks like there's a multiverse, and these worlds are being destroyed and being overcome, and you're like trying to stop that from happening. But it is fun. I enjoyed it. I did get about, I would say about 20 hours into it.
Oh, okay.
So I do want to pass it, but there's so many games that I can't play.
Yeah, that
There's so
happens
much
to me a lot.
time that I need. Moving on, Wonderful 101. I had never played the game. I knew about it as far as I knew that it was on the shelf at GameStop, and I had seen it many times, and I never really thought about buying it until I had to buy 2 get 1 free, and I needed something to get, and I chose to get it. But man, am I enjoying it. It is a very fun game. Basically, the whole idea is that you have 101, or you're number 101, and you can get up to 100 other, I would say, heroes, and you can turn people into heroes. But when you have enough heroes, you can form like things like a giant arm, a giant
Oh, so
sword.
it's like Pikmin, kind of like Overlord thing, where you have a bunch of little guys you control.
Yes, and you can form like weapons, but it is very fun in the sense that the very first level captivated me. You're in a bus and you're driving through the highway as an invasion's happening, and the whole idea is like kind of like they've gotten from Super Sentai and from like Power Rangers and a whole bunch of little things from other heroes. But it is fun, it is funny, and I like the idea that it's the kind of like a top-down where they're not sprites, but they are kind of small. And as you get more powers and more
Like a
craziness
chibi
starts
kind of
happening, yeah. And there's a lot of craziness to it because there's a lot of bad guys that get on the screen and bosses, and it becomes crazy to have like 100 people in the scene. So,
I think they're the same people that did Bayonetta, like Platinum Games or something.
I think so too, yeah. And I would definitely recommend this game because it is fun to play on the Wii U. Now, Star Fox Adventure, I never really played it. I played Star Fox a lot, but I never got Star Fox Adventures. So now that I have it, I've played it a little bit. Now, they did try to overemphasize on the girl. They made her extremely sexy, if that's the right wording. I mean, they were trying to like appeal to, I guess, a more mature audience.
I guess. I've heard a lot of bad things about that game. I don't know much about it either.
Yeah, they could have done more of the space battles and less of the walking.
Okay.
But it is a fun game to play, especially now. Battle Fantasia, this is an old game that I've been wanting to get for a long time. I kind of hope that it would come with the original case and all that, but it is what it is. It's kind of like it is a 2D fighter, but anime style, but not the modern look where it's CG. It's more like, it feels like hand-drawn in a way.
Oh, like an old school kind of anime.
Yes.
Yeah. That
So
makes sense.
it is fun.
Yeah, I think I've seen it before.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a fighter. It is what it is. So it is fun to play. And at $4.99 in a buy two get one free, it was, for me that I've been trying to get it for a long time, it was kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what I got here.
All right. So I got like two more things. Well, here's this. So I picked these up. I was running out of space. As you can see, I bought a bunch of 3DS and 2DS games to hold them. And because I don't have a ton of space in my house, I basically usually take off the cases and save the cases, but put all the cartridges in these things. And I ended up buying this on eBay for cheap, and then like a week later, it went on sale in Best Buy. So I ended up getting another one here. But those aren't that exciting. They just hold the games. The real cool thing is this thing. So I've always wanted this and I never picked it up, and I said, alright, it's time for me to pull the trigger on it and just do it. So I ended up picking it up. If you don't know what this is, apart from being a cool little thing from Mario, what is that called? Mystery box, I guess? It holds DS and 3DS games. And it holds up to 10 of them, which is actually a pretty good amount. So if like you're on a road trip or something, you can carry this or whatever. But the gimmick again is that it folds, and if you put it back together, you can see that. Bam, it's a cube. Or yeah, it's a cube.
And then if you press it,
Yeah. Yeah, and I just put some random games in here to show you guys. But you can see how that's kind of cool. So I thought that was cool. It was like 12 or 13 bucks. I think it usually runs for like 17, but I got it cheap, so that's kind of cool.
so I guess moving on, I'll just throw in the last two things. I got this at a Walmart. It was $10. You know, I'm not really too much into... No, I should refrain from that. I love Legos, and I would love to build stuff, but Legos are expensive, Mega Bloks are expensive, so I tend to stay away from them. But this was actually on clearance, and it was
Now there's
10
so many companies, right? Like you said, this is like what Mega Constructs. There's like all these companies doing these things now.
Yeah, and really as a collector, there's only so much I can actually do. I mean, I'm not rich, but yeah, it was on clearance for $10, and it was a Warthog, and I just said, let me try it. Let me just get it, build
very
it,
cool.
and put it up in my wall somewhere. But
Which
this is Halo 4, or it could be Halo 5 maybe, because it uses the same suit. But Halo 4, I'm guessing, or Halo 5, whatever.
All right.
Because it has Master Chief in this new.
It doesn't come with figures, right? It's just the card.
I don't know. It shows many pictures in the back that it comes with 2 figures, but then it doesn't really explain it. So I was just getting it for the Warthog. It looked kind of cool, so it would go nice in my collection. And with that, bam, I got a new mouse. It's a game. It's a real nice mouse. It's a Logitech 602, I believe. I got it at a Goodwill.
Really?
Yeah, I got it at a Goodwill, and you guys will not know. Actually, you will know, but you're gonna beat your heads over it. I got it for $2.99.
What?
This is like at the very least, you could get it sometimes on sale for maybe $40, but generally it's about $70.
Yeah,
And
that's a steal, and it
it
works.
is.
Did you try it already?
It works perfectly.
They didn't know
flawlessly.
what it was, man.
They just didn't know,
Yeah.
which is kind of like a weird thing because sometimes I go to like a thrift store or a Goodwill, and there are some things that are like overly priced and some things that are underpriced. It's like Russian roulette. It
is. I went to a thrift store the other day. No, it was a Goodwill, and they had a old school Blu-ray player for like $200, $199. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You can get like a 4K 3D Blu-ray player for that price.
You know, I'll tell you something. I'll add to that. I went to a Goodwill, and
It's always Goodwill, man. They're the worst about that.
yeah, I went to a Goodwill and I was just shopping around looking for old games or whatever. And this guy comes out of the back with a PS3, the Fat Boy PS3.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was
Cool.
like, okay, let me see what he's got, how much he's gonna charge for it. I look at it and he's charging $249.
no.
And I'm like,
Man, isn't that more than like if you buy the new one?
yeah, if you buy the Slim today, it's $149 at brand new, if you can find it still. But I mean, he's like $249. So I asked him, hey man, that's overpriced. You know that this is an old system? And he's like, yeah, but it has a Blu-ray player. And I was like, I started laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? That's the price it was. I mean, for $249 for that? I mean, like, come on, man. And I showed him on a website, you could get it for $149 at Walmart. And he was like, yeah, but it's a rare one. I was like, okay, dude. All right, see you later.
Sorry about that. Again, we have camera issues. All right, here we go. Real quick. So, did I mention this before? I don't know. Well, I'll mention it again just in case. So, like many of you, I grew up watching anime. You know, obviously Dragon Ball Z along with Tenchi and Blue Seed and all that good stuff. And lately, there's a like Super, right?
Yes, Dragon Ball Super.
So, Super. So
Super.
you've been watching. I haven't been watching. I'm kind of waiting to get a ton of episodes. I hate waiting every week for an episode.
Yeah, and Dragon Ball is known for, like, you could literally have a whole new life. Like, what I'm trying to say is that you'll have an episode of Dragon Ball where Goku is gonna fight somebody. You could literally stop there, go have kids, marry, and then come back, and he's still fighting the same guy.
They milk it. I remember Frieza, man. That one fight with Frieza was how long? It was like 20 episodes.
It was more
in the
than that,
beginning?
probably.
Yeah,
but
man.
I'm over exaggerating. But
Yeah.
if you guys watch Dragon Ball, you guys will know what I'm talking about. They will milk everything.
Yeah. Well, so that's where this is from, right? This is like God Vegeta or something like that. I don't. Like I said, I haven't
Super Saiyan God, yeah.
I haven't kept up with the new ones, but I got this because I got it for a very good price. So I think it's usually like $50 or whatever the case is. But I went and they were having a clearance, and then with like 20% off, or I don't know how much it was. But basically, I ended up paying $30, and I had a $25 gift card that I had to get rid of because it was going to expire, or a coupon. I forgot what it was, and that's it. I got it for like what, $10 or something, along with $15 along with this little figure that was also on clearance. So you know, and I would say this to you guys: check out your Barnes and Nobles because they have a lot of cool toys, and a lot of them go on clearance because nobody buys them at those ridiculous prices.
Yeah,
So
I will
that's-
add to that. I have been checking out Barnes and Nobles because I've been trying to buy some books and stuff like that because I generally like to read, and even though Player One sometimes makes fun of me
I didn't know you can read, man.
Well,
That's pretty good.
especially now because I've been wanting to get caught up on the Dark Tower, the new movie that's coming out. By the way, this one's mine.
Yeah, I
Player
brought
One
it.
is just telling me to put it in, so I got Boo. So this one actually I loved it. When I opened it, I loved it. I love Boo. I think he's always one of my, he's up there as far as being one of my favorite characters. But anyway, as I was saying, I was trying to get caught up on the Dark Tower series, so I was trying to buy each book and read them as fast as possible for the movie. I know the movie what it's about because I've read the books before, but it's been such a long time that I forgot a lot of things with the Crimson King and all that. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is they usually have a lot of like figures and animes and journals in there that are on clearance. Do check it out because sometimes it's worth your
Yeah,
while
I
for
agree.
for
This
it.
one was worth it. This is awesome. Even if
Yeah, I
you paid
mean-
the $20, $29 or $25, it was worth the $30.
I hate Player One because they only had one and he got it. And if not, I would have jumped on it and bought it because I mean, Vegeta's one of my favorite characters. I think he's the most, even though he started as a bad guy, he's one of my favorite Saiyans because he's the most real one.
I think he has the best character arc. I definitely think so because the way he's changed.
Well, I'll add to it. Yes, but Trunks to me is way better character arc than Vegeta. But yes, I do agree. He has completely changed as a character from the very first time you see him. And I think that Goku is kind of very irresponsible in a lot of things. If you guys have been following the series, you'll know what I'm talking about. But he's a lovable character.
Yeah,
now.
he is. He's awesome. And this like thing, I thought it was a toy or a statue. You actually build this. It comes with all these pieces, kind of like a Gundam, and you build it. And it does come with a figure inside, like a fixed pose Vegeta. So, and obviously, you know, he's doing his typical like bad boy thing, you know. So I think that's cool. I'm really happy to have it. Now I just have to build it.
And this figure's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, all his figures are funny.
So I guess is that it?
Yeah, that's our massive pickups for July.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
So
Hope you guys enjoyed.
I hope I have a lot for August though. I don't know.
That might be a little tight.
We'll see. We'll see.
But again, thanks for watching. If you guys have any comments or suggestions, please leave it down below. If there's any game you're interested in that you saw us pick up today, or that you're interested in seeing a review, let us know. I'm really trying my best to review games. They take a long time, as you know.
Yeah,
But
for real.
At least to do it like a thorough review, which is what I like to do.
And what I'm trying to do is I actually talked to Player One, and we're trying to get a series up as far as Q&A series with me and Player One. So if you guys want that, please do tell us in the comment section.
Yeah, we'd love to answer some questions.
Yeah, about anything. It could be about tech, it could be about games, anime, whatever. We'll love to set that up for you guys.
Yeah. So
and maybe even stream it.
Yeah, maybe. That would be cool.
Yeah, so
But I guess that's it for me.
yeah, and that's it for me. So this is Player 2
And Player One.
signing out.
Thanks for watching.